Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Oh, yeah. I'm not here to make you laugh. That's not my job. But I'll try, I guess. Yes, I will. I guess I will. Yes, I will. Try to make you laugh. Will you go to lunch? Will you go to lunch? Will you go to lunch? I will go to lunch. I don't know. Maybe I won't go to lunch. I gotta go to breakfast first. Good morning, folks, people of Earth. Today, Monday, September 11th, 2023. Hope you're having a beautiful morning wherever you are. Of course, this date in America or anywhere in the world probably has a lot of significance now. You know what? For me, and people are going to be talking about this day. It happens every time this day. It's like we can't let go of trauma. But for me, what this date means is uncertainty. Uncertainty about what really happened. We think we know what happened. And I talk about this all the time, the difference between conspiracy theories and just saying, I don't believe the official story. The official story is full of holes, and we don't really know what happened. I don't like to, guess or dream or imagine that I know what happened and then pass that on to people. If it weren't for 9/11, the original 9/11, 22 years ago, we would not have Alex Jones. Alex Jones was the first guy to jump in, and this is what I remember most about the day. Before the fires were even out, Alex Jones was jumping in with guesses, dreams, imagination, fantasies about what really happened. And of course, the 9/11 Commission report didn't clear up a lot of the mystery to it. And you know where all the holes in the story are. There's so many different holes and so many different angles you can go from. But the bottom line is we don't know what happened. We will never know what happened. And the fact that we know our government is keeping something secret from us, they don't want us to know the full story of what it's all about, leads to a lot of suspicion, speculation, and just outright imagination to fill in the gaps. And so I appreciate everybody and their sentiment about the day, especially the New York firefighters and New York police people and their families who lost people, and anybody who lost people in the buildings that day, Pentagon, the people in Pennsylvania, all of those people who had experienced personal loss that day. It's got to be even worse. Listen, if I were one of those people, I'd want to believe the official story right down the line. But we can't. We can't ever know what really happened. And that's really sad. But that led us to where we are today in this world where nobody trusts anything the government says, does, or any of it. There are so many questions I have in my mind, and if anybody, you know, really wants to express anything about that, I will make myself available to that. You can come on the show. I mean, just if you need a link, if you really uh, got to get something off your chest about what this day means to you, I'd prefer we move on, not forget. They say never forget, but we have forgotten. We've forgotten that the most important thing is asking for the truth. We're not even asking for the truth anymore. We're just accepting. We're either accepting the lie or accepting our license to create our own lie. Uh, anyway, there's enough been said by me, especially on this subject. I don't know what happened. I don't know. 9/11. What does it mean to me? It means I feel like I've been lied to. That's how I feel today. Now, I remember the day very clearly. We have a not a strong, but a visible military presence here on Long Island. And the house I was living in time, fighter jets were flying over at low altitude all morning. Um, not all morning, of course, not until after the attack. But then, they were trying to protect the New York area, and then so we had, jets flying everywhere. But I knew even then that I was never going to get the truth about this thing, and not to really expect the truth. But we've come to a place of acceptance. We accept whether we did it for security reasons or whatever. We accept that the government is not going to tell us the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And we gave up a lot of freedoms because of that. Um, we gave up a lot of Fourth Amendment freedoms because the government, the National Defense Act that Bush signed into law at that time, allows all the agencies to continually spy on us and eavesdrop on us and all that stuff. There was now at the heart of, and this is important, at the heart of every conspiracy theory, there has to be a gain. What did if you're coming up with an imaginary conspiracy, the conspirators have to have something to have gained in the process. Now, it's pretty clear there's a lot that people could have gained from this. The government's ability to spy on us at will and take all that stuff, the incentive to go to war, the justification to go to war, which George Bush made it pretty clear while he was running for president that he had intentions on going to war, not with Afghanistan, but with Iraq, however you want to pronounce it. So there was that. Then there's the missing money that was at the in the basement of the World Trade Center. I don't remember exactly what the number was, but it was billions. Missing money, all that kind of stuff. So there's incentives with that. But 11 years later, was it 11 years later? Yes, 11 years later. I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh. You can't laugh today. It's not a laughing day. I'm going to laugh today. I'm going to laugh today. 11 years later was the Benghazi thing. Now, there's a conspiracy theories. There's all sorts of conspiracy theories about Benghazi as well. Sam Tripoli, who was on the latest Rogan show. Rogan had a podcast now with Brendan Schaub, Brian Callen, and Sam Tripoli on. Kind of shoots down the podcast cringe people who live for nothing but to talk about podcasts, talking about how Brendan Schaub is on the outs with Joe Rogan. Well, that shoots down that idea, doesn't it? He had him on this week, just a couple of days ago. Sam Tripoli, who owes me a ass kissing. is one of the purveyors of the Benghazi conspiracy theories. And he was online saying that Obama let Benghazi happen. That couldn't happen, first of all, or it didn't happen because of what I was just alluding to. I was talking about, Carl says 3 trillion. I don't think it was 3 trillion, man. You can't have $3 trillion. You can't. You could have paper that represents $3 trillion on, like, you can't have $3 trillion in a building like that. You need a bigger building. Anyway, I got sidetracked here. What I was talking about with the Benghazi thing. Obama might have been incompetent. You can argue that, but you can't argue that he let it happen because, first of all, he was running for election. What I was just talking about, there has to be something to gain out of it. He had nothing to gain. Roger is in the back, and I think he's panicking about his devices. The devices seem to be working now. Roger Lay will be joining us in a little bit to talk about his new book called Digital Meltdown. Anyway, there has to be something to gain. And there was nothing to gain for Obama to let this happen. Think about it. He was running for re-election. And the last thing you need is when you're running for re-election, that it seemed like he had sewn up on September 11th of 2012 is something that seemed like America was attacked and we did nothing about it. We lost, what does he have to gain? That actually put his re-election at great jeopardy. And then he had to go to defense mode, cover-up mode, and create the lie about the videotape and all that stuff. All that compounded his effort to get reelected. And there was nothing to be gained out of it. There was no new incentive that came out of that. There was nothing to be gained out of that. So when Sam Tripoli was on Twitter, when it was called Twitter, it was still called Twitter, and he was talking about Obama let 9/11 happen. I said, you know what? You just lost all your credibility. You're not even fit to have this discussion. And he said, educate me. And then I went through the whole process of there's nothing to gain there. To say that he let it happen, he intentionally knew it was going to happen and sat on his hands and said, no, I want it to happen. That can't be true. That can't be true under any circumstance. That would be like, I don't want to win the election. But he's still peddling that conspiracy. He was on Rogan doing it. Now, he owes me an ass kissing because he lost that argument. He knew he lost that argument because he just said, oh, that was his final response. Oh, yeah. No, you owe me a fucking ass kissing, Sam Tripoli. And so we have two things to remember this date by, but most people will only remember the buildings and not Benghazi. And Benghazi was a significant, even though it was 4 people, not 3,000 people. It was an American tragedy, and we have to kind of keep it in that light. And I think that date, we hear Benghazi all the time, but we don't connect the two. That it was a September 11th spit in the face by the people in Libya. Well, Carl is in Manchester, England right now, and he says he just realized it's 9/11. You wouldn't unless you lived here, and then if you lived here, you couldn't escape it. It's everywhere, and everybody will be talking about it. If you get on any place on social media, people are just 9/11 and 9/11, 9/11, 9/11. It's trauma. We like to relive trauma. Anyway, 3 trillion was the missing money in the Pentagon. There was missing money from the World Trade, the Twin Towers too, World Trade Center. I thought it was $7 billion. I thought it was $7 billion. $3 trillion is a lot of fucking money, man. I'm sorry. Recap. We'll move on a little bit now. Is 40-0 a big loss in football? I don't know. The Giants kicked off their season last night against the Dallas Cowboys. Lost 40-0, and people are freaking out like it's a terrible loss. Yeah, I know you can't lose 1-0 in football. But 3-0 or even 2-0, you could lose 2-0 actually. There, in my mind, there's no other than how it looks. And I didn't watch the game, and I wouldn't watch the game. But other than how it looks, there's no difference in the standings between a 40-0 loss and a 2-0 loss or 3-0 loss. But everybody who who was, oh yeah, football's here, football's back, and then 15 minutes into the game, fuck football. I don't who cares about football? The Giants have become the football Mets. The football Mets. Anyway, my weekend, I'll just really make this really quick if I can. I can't make anything quick. You know that. Friday night had a gig at Gocha, a restaurant in Lindenhurst, New York. And it's about 75 miles from my house. And as I pulled into the parking lot, I hit a curb and it knocked my tailpipe loose. Muffler. I got a Hollywood muffler on a minivan full of equipment, and the thing's hanging down. And I'm not like it's not like I'm wearing a tuxedo or anything, but I'm dressed for a gig. I don't want to get on the ground, try to crawl underneath the van, tie this friggin' tailpipe up. I'm thinking, how am I going to get home? So I went in and played the gig. And the gig was a sleeper of a gig, a real sleeper of a gig, low energy. And came out and I figured, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? None of my friends wanted to help. You find out where your friends are when you're 75 miles from home, your tailpipe's hanging off, and you're at the end of a gig. Nobody gives a fuck. Fuck the dog. He's on his own. I'm on my own. This is a realization I had over the weekend. I'm on my own. So I had 100-foot guitar cable, and I kind of backed up so I don't have to get down on my knees in this dirty parking lot that got water running or whatever. And I used 100-foot guitar cable to wrap around the van and the tailpipe enough that I got it off the ground a little bit, and I had to ride all the way back 75 miles. But I had to hold outside the window, hold the guitar cable as tight as I could so the thing wouldn't fall down. So by the time I got home, my bicep was flexed to the max. It was incredible. Then we had a gig on Saturday, which is Save the Bay, Save the Great South Bay. We talked a little bit about, climate change and what it means locally here, growing up on the Great South Bay. And all the changes that have happened. Now, it's not just climate change that has affected. It's overuse of the population has grown, and the amount of people abusing the bay, the Great South Bay, has grown. But so we played a charity event for an organization that's trying to do something to rejuvenate the Great South Bay. And while I applaud the effort and everybody trying to do that, I'm not a big believer that we can fix shit that we break in those terms. So, but that was a sleeper of a gig, really low energy gig. And so Saturday night, and by the way, I rented a U-Haul to get to that gig because the van, my mechanic can't take my van until Wednesday of this week. So I rented a U-Haul. And I get there and, basically a wash. By the time I end up paying for the U-Haul at whatever, it's only $19.95 a day, but the mileage they get, it's $1.50 or something a mile. You can do the math. You end up working for friggin' peanuts. Anyway, so I was feeling really bummed out about the gigs or the band gigs on the weekend with just so friggin' low energy. I just wanted to give up. And then Sunday, William's popping in. Sunday I had a gig, my Sunday gig at Daisy's in Nashville. And the place was packed. Good morning, William.
Good morning.
We have to do something about the way that phone just pops you right in there we'll figure that out.
I mean, we could give me a Chrome. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I mean, I had to throw it in there. See, that was me trying to be Carl for a second.
Yeah,
Is what that was.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I think that's a good impression. But if you want to be Carl, ask for a Chromebook.
All right. Just finishing this up now. So I got yesterday at Daisy's Nashville. The best response, applause wise, dancing wise, people were, just having a good time. Place was packed. But the least amount of tips I ever got there. So the best audience response I've ever gotten there, and the worst tip day. And I said to my wife at the end, and she said, "How was the gig?" I said, "You know what? I'd prefer they save the applause and put money in the."
Right.
I'd rather have the money than the applause, and that's a self-realization I never considered before. But the money is definitely more important than
Right.
than applause and dancing and "we love you." I don't want to be loved. I want to be compensated.
Yeah. Matter of fact, if you want to like just fill my tip jar with
Yeah.
20s and 50s, you don't even have to clap or anything.
You could
You
boo.
could just
You could throw shit at me.
Fuck you. You can heckle me for that. Yeah, exactly.
If you put
I feel you, dude. I feel you. I'm on board with that 100%.
If you put $100 in my jar, a $100 bill, we can talk about anal sex.
Yeah, we can talk about ass eating at that point.
Talk about it. I didn't say we can do it.
We can have a conversation. That'll get the conversation started.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a comedian. I forget which guy it is, but he's got a great bit about. I think it might be Hannibal Buress. That has a great bit about a gay dude just buying him drinks all night in the hopes to get him in the sack, and he's like, maybe some of that top shelf 30-year-old scotch will do it. Like I think it's Hannibal Buress. I could be wrong, but it's a really great bit. I love that bit.
Good idea. I would now. I will say this: when I went to pick up the U-Haul van, they make you inspect it because you have to sign off on what condition it is when you take it.
Sure.
And I opened it up and I said to the kid, Indian kid. Or Pakistani kid, Far Eastern, but not China or Japan, Far Eastern, right. Asian. I said, "It smells like pot in there." He goes, No, I don't smell no pot. I said, "No, it does. I got a really sensitive nose." He goes, "You want me to clean?" I was like, No, just make a note of it so when I bring it back, it wasn't me. And then so I got to bring the van back today, and it does smell like pot. I have to say.
I bet it does. That's great strategy work, Matt. That's strategery. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mike Chavot is going to bring me a big bag of lube, a big jar of lube, not a big bag of lube. My next show. I don't know what my next show is. We don't have a lot of shows on the calendar. I do. The band doesn't. Anyway, Roger Lay looks like he's not connected again. Maybe Roger, if you want to turn your video on, it's time to meet Roger. You'll he's in another place now. I don't know. Roger's going kind of wacky with these connections here. Let me get this one off. Anyway, hang with us for this segment, William.
Yeah.
This is I'm waiting for him to turn there it is. The camera's on. Roger Lay is an author who's been on the program before. This day he picked the date. Last time he was on, we were talking about his book that was a novella about a conspiracy theory about Princess Diana and the Muslim prince. So it's kind of fitting that he's here on this kind of day where we're talking about conspiracy theories and all that kind of crap. Welcome back to the program. Roger Lay. Roger, welcome. Your mic is muted.
Welcome, Roger.
Roger, can you hear me? I don't think you can even see me. Roger. Hello, Roger. Your mic is muted. Your mic is muted. Your mic. Mike, yours. Mute.
Can you not unmute him? Or is it?
I can't.
There we go.
Hello? Roger,
Hi there.
say hello.
Hi there,
Hi.
Matt
Are we
and
on?
William.
Matt and William. Yeah, say hello to William Conway. William is
Hello.
you
Nice
just
to
muted.
meet you.
You just muted yourself again. We have technical difficulties with Roger. Roger, hello. Say hello. This is not going to work, folks. Roger, I'm going to let you go, man. We got to sort out the technical problems. We'll have you back when we get the technical problem solved. But this is obviously not going to work. I'm letting you go.
I think he's frozen even.
We've had Roger on the program before, and both times we've had technical problems, slow stuff.
Oh, okay. He must not have a very good connection.
Yeah, it was fine for the afternoon show, but for the morning show, we got to keep things moving. And I apologize for that, but you got to make sure it works. Anyway,
did you get the couple pictures I sent you? I sent you one on text.
We're
and one
ready
on
to go.
Messenger.
We're ready to go with both of them. They're both queued up.
Awesome stuff.
Do you watch football on Sundays?
Okay, so I'll be honest with you. I have not made football a priority for the last couple of years. So this week was like the first week that I've like really paid attention to football in a while. And boy, howdy, it was definitely a week one. We'll say that. Do you want to start with football news? Is that where you want to?
No, you could start. I don't want to start anyway. I want you to pick up whatever you want to do, but you can't do anything without me playing your intro, your news.
Oh,
intro.
of course.
Of course. Are you ready to do that now? We could do that now.
Sure.
All right. I'm a little flustered this morning myself, so I'm gonna do that and to pull myself out here.
CBS News reports that the search for Danilo Cavalcante, a Pennsylvania prison escapee, continues. The 34-year-old Brazilian national was recently convicted of first-degree murder of his ex-girlfriend and is also wanted for murder in Brazil. He escaped the Chester County prison just before 9 a.m. on Thursday, August 31st. And he's been on the loose ever since. It's been documented on Ring cameras and other sources that he's been in a number of homes. He did manage to slip through the perimeter they had set up in the Longwood Gardens area. As to how he was able to escape, I know that this was a question that our host Matt Napo had. He used the same exact route that Igor Bolt used at the same facility on May 19th. I mean, you would think that maybe the prison would sew that hole up, but no. So search continues. The citizens are calling for the National Guard to be called in. Just so you know. Also, Long Island native Danny Masterson, most notably known as Hyde on That 70s Show, was sentenced last week to 30 years to life for multiple rape charges stemming from incidents in the early 2000s. Looks like he couldn't hide after all. I'll tell you who does want to hide, though. The power couple and former co-stars Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. Word of their character letters written on behalf of the convicted rapist drew much backlash, and the couple released an apology video on Saturday for supporting the disgraced star and friend. Well, if you're ever going to see Joe Rogan at an Arby's, your best chance is probably tomorrow. The We Have the Meats franchise will be adding the Big Game Burger to its menu, a venison, elk, and ground beef patty topped with crispy onions, tangy pickles, Swiss cheese, and a dark cherry steak sauce, which my guess is that will be the substance PETA members use to splash on Arby executives in the weeks to come. With week one of the NFL season mostly in the books, let's do a recap. The monsters of the Midway were pretty much MIA as Green Bay made the Bears pretty much look like Cubs in their 38-20 victory at Soldier Field. The Steelers got kicked in the teeth, according to Mike Tomlin, at home as well by San Francisco. The Cleveland Browns did defend their home turf with a surprising 24-3 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cowboys made the Giants look small with a 40-0 victory. The Raiders edged the Broncos at Mile High Stadium 17-16. The Eagles topped the Patriots 25-20. The Baltimore Ravens handled the Houston Texans 25-9. To put it nicely, home field advantage was no advantage at all this week, with 10 teams dropping their home opener. No matter what, though, one New York State team will come away with a win in week 1, as tonight's game will see the Buffalo Bills travel to New Jersey to take on the New York Jets. Also in NFL news, NBC's Mike Tricka. Why can't I say this name? Mike Tirico. Mike Tirico, yeah. NBC's Mike Tirico is under fire for his post-game comments on Thursday night when the Lions squeaked past the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Tirico said that the Lions win would have an asterisk next to it because Kansas City didn't have defensive tackle Chris Jones or Mahomes' top target, Travis Kelce. Well, I do support the asterisk for the Lions win, but not for different reasons. For this one right here, okay? All right. Let's talk about why this game deserves an asterisk, okay? I think I got to be over here. Okay. This game absolutely deserves to have an asterisk next to it. This was no proud victory for the Detroit Lions. This image right here, okay? Take a real good look at it, all right? That is a pick six. I'm sorry. Brian Branch won that game with a heads-up pick six that never should have happened, okay? Kadarius Toney, you're lucky I'm not a coach or an owner. There's no way this dude should have a job, okay? This is the total, like, this is participation trophy era at its finest. At its finest. You won that game by 1 point. Okay, if Toney catches that ball as he should, because his elite quarterback put it in his hands, in his hands, and that's a pick six. Well, you take those 6 points off the boards, and I got some sad news for you folks. Detroit doesn't win that game. So asterisks, absolutely. That's the news.
Wow. Wow, that was some report. You know what? Warner Wolf is like rolling. You don't even know who Warner Wolf is. Warner Wolf is like rolling over in his grave. Not sure he's dead, but if he is, rolling over in his grave. That was a very animated sports report. I like it. And I'm sure.
This is why I don't watch football. I get fired up, bro. And let me tell you something. The Chicago Bears, listen, I'm a Bears fan. Like, I don't know if you noticed it, like on my other lives and stuff like that. I literally have a Bears head painted on my bedroom wall. Okay. So I'm definitely a okay.
A Bears
yesterday, head. There was at least 12 and a half minutes left when it seemed like pretty much the entire Chicago team just checked out of the game and were no longer trying. I was livid fucking pissed.
Wow.
Like, I was so mad watching the game yesterday. I it's one of those times where like people just don't, which is this part why I don't watch football much, because like I'll get so upset that people don't want to be around me because when I get that vibrationally upset, it tremors to the people around. You feel it.
Well, This is exactly why I'm not, I gave up football, I gave up baseball, I gave up basketball, I gave up hockey all at the same time, and I punched my television and got rid of it.
Right.
That's exactly why. It's like I don't want to live in that angry place, and to think that a sports team that I don't have any financial investment in,
Stocking. Yeah. There's
yeah,
no real investment for, yeah.
yeah, why? And I'm gonna let that make my day bad and make the way I treat other people bad, and just make me a grumpy
Right.
fucking angry bastard. Who needs
Right.
it? Too many people are
Right.
caught up in that. And I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
to say, one of the best decisions I ever made. It's going on. What is it? It's almost 16 years now. No, 15 years. Uh, actually, a couple of weeks will be the 15th anniversary of the day I punched out the television. September 28th, 2008. So yeah,
Man.
and I'm glad I did it. It changed my life. Now I know I'm not there yet. I'm not a healed person by any means. I'm not
Right.
enlightened, but that aspect of why I was either making, on a win I would be exuberant, and on a loss I would be depressed, and you don't
Right.
need that.
Right.
Roger's
And
still
then, like,
trying
in a
trying to
way, it
connect
feels
back
like you're
there.
giving up your power, right?
Yes, all completely. That's what, not
Yeah.
just in a way, and that is the
Right.
way. So Roger's still trying to connect back there. Roger, we're gonna have to reschedule. I know on the afternoon show we weathered through some of this stuff, but it just can't work in the morning. We got to keep things moving here. I appreciate you trying. He's got a new book out called Digital Meltdown. Now, last week I was talking about the plastics in the ocean. His book
Yeah.
is about his protagonist, Martin Riley, is the protagonist in all his book. Book is about a scientist who creates a bacterium that is going to eat all the plastics at the bottom of the ocean and clean up that problem. But it goes awry because there are other consequences that don't, unforeseen consequences, where the thing actually ends up eating all the computers. And we have a complete digital meltdown. That's the name of the book.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's an interesting book. I want to talk to him about it, but not this morning. I mean,
And
I
that's the
would.
name of the book, Digital Meltdown?
Yes, by Roger
Cool.
Lay. It's available on Amazon. We do appreciate him making the effort because he's in England, but for some reason, connection just doesn't work. So it doesn't work. So you know what? I try my best. I got like I don't want to exaggerate, a slew of new comedians and authors between midnight last night when I hit the sack and about 6 o'clock this morning when I woke up. All these people requesting to be on the program. I don't know what caused that. I didn't put anything out there. It's strange. Somebody's pulling some strings somewhere, but and some of them he's just going to keep trying different connections. Roger, we're going to have to let you go, bro. I'm sorry. It's not working out, Roger. We're going to have to reschedule for another day. I'm sorry. We're
So
going to have,
is that a good thing that happened then, right? You're happy about that, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
So, yeah, I'm happy about it, but I'm also confused, like what's going on. Because generally on a good day, I'll get 2 or 3. I can't count how many, 15 maybe. Uh,
Well,
and,
that,
uh, so it's, yeah.
so one of gosh, I can't even remember who it was, but one of the people that you've had on the show quite a bit recently friended me on Facebook, and I
Probably Glenn.
accepted his
GD, Glenn.
No, I don't think it was I think it was Robert something.
Oh, Robert Taylor. Robert
Yes,
Taylor
Robert
County.
Taylor friended me on Facebook. And so I accepted his friend request, and I was cruising his page, and I saw your post from, I think it was August 26th, kind of calling for guests or whatever. And
Yeah.
so I took that post and I put it on like a bunch of different Facebook groups.
I saw that a bunch of people liked it. That's probably you did it. It's all on
Yeah.
you. All right.
Yeah.
Jackie, by the way, speaking of all on you, Jackie's thing with Bert Kreischer is out September 20th. And Jackie will be with us on September 18th. To talk
Awesome
about,
sauce.
we'll talk about the documentary, and we'll talk about the Bertcast that he's going to be on and whatever shows he's going to be on. I don't want to talk to him about it offline, so it's difficult because how conversations go with him. Anyway,
Yeah.
did you get a chance to
Because
see the documentary?
you lose a little bit of substance when you talk about stuff you want to talk about
Yeah,
on the show. Yeah. I
yeah,
totally get it.
yeah. Did you get a chance to see the documentary yet, or you
I
still?
did. My wife and I watched it yesterday. I think it really. I think it freaked my wife out because she was like, "You are so much like this guy."
You are?
like,
How?
especially, huh?
How? You're not like a joke guy. I mean, like an
Yeah,
old
not
joke.
okay. So definitely, dude. I'm definitely not the Rolodex that he is for like being able to do that. But like, I can make a joke out of anything. Like, and I can see the funny in about every situation. And I'm generally pretty snappy with it. And like I don't do it so much anymore because like I don't like doing it because to me it feels easy. But I used to do just change up song lyrics for comedy bits all the time, just because I used to have a bit about how a song will get stuck in your head while you're at work, and then what you're doing at work and the song in your head collide, and so I just used to make up a whole bunch of just silly songs because I mean creatively, like I could write anything. You give me direction, I can write you anything you want. You know what I
So
mean? Like,
you would take like uh sitting on the dock of the bay and make that sitting on the cock 'cause I'm gay. Is that kind
yeah,
of
sitting on a
cock
cactus
'cause
and
I'm
gay.
all
Oh,
right.
I wanna feel it sliding in and
All
out.
right.
You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, like I can do shit like that. Like it's
Now, but what he does, and there's only a brief thing in this documentary, and I don't want to ruin it for people. Go out and fucking rent the documentary. You. Um,
yeah, it's totally worth it.
uh,
Totally worth it.
when he brings people up on stage to do stunt the joke, man, that is fucking as impressive as can
Yeah,
be.
going down, dude. Watching him go down that line is nuts.
And
It's
yeah,
crazy.
it seems like he never like he batted 1,000, and nobody could possibly do that. But I have a feeling he did. Like never
Well,
missed.
and one of the things that he mentioned that I thought was interesting was he talked about the variances in these type of jokes, how like there's variances, but like the gist of the joke or the substance of the joke is the same, but so
Yeah,
like when he hears certain setups, he just know, okay, this is just a different version of this one. You
right,
know what I mean? Like, but to be able to recognize that in like that fast is just insane.
right,
That's savant level shit.
right. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to talk to him about that and get his answers to a lot of the questions I have. I have questions. One of the questions I have is he has all these relationships from the from the Stern show, but only Stuttering John, who he doesn't have, he's kind of on the outs with Stuttering John. Stuttering John is the only one really from the show that is on the program, and why? So Robin's not on, Fred's not on, Howard doesn't say anything. I'm wondering if Howard put an edict on out like I don't want anybody cooperating with Jackie on this documentary. That's one
Oh,
of the
I'm sure. I'm
you,
sure
sure.
because I would almost bet because okay, I think it's a pride issue. I think Howard Stern has a real pride issue, and I think that the fact that like he doesn't like that the the truth is out there that he
Yeah.
wasn't such a funny guy. Like he was being fed most of those things. And I think that creates like this sliver that eats at Howard in a certain way. You
Right.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Last time Jackie
I
was on
think
the
that that's where it all stems from, in my
right.
opinion. Just
You're right.
from a third party outside
No,
looking
you're
in.
absolutely right. Howard's ego is definitely bruised by the fact that a lot of people are saying Howard wasn't as funny as we thought he was. It was all Jackie and all that stuff, and that fucking hurt
Right.
without a doubt. Last time Jackie was on the show, Ian did ask him about Stuttering John, and Jackie closed down. I've never seen Jackie close down like so quickly or coldly I'm not talking about that. Like, wait, he'll talk about anything. He didn't want to talk about Stuttering John, and I have no idea. He won't even tell me offline about it. I don't know what it's all about. And I kind of nudged Stuttering John a little bit to kind of open up about it, but who knows what it's about. But so he's the only guy out of all those relationships that's in the documentary. Don't you find that a little weird? I mean, because I know
I mean, with the situation, I don't necessarily, you know what I mean? Because you know, the truth of the matter is that those hands are still being fed by Howard Stern, and
Yeah.
you're not going to bite the hand that fucking feeds you. And if he says don't fucking say anything, and you want to keep making your money, you don't fucking say anything.
What's he going to do? Fire Robin Quivers after 30 years? I mean, you know what I mean? He's not going to get rid of Robin.
Listen, what it seems like you might do and what you will actually do often are two different things, and a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't look beyond that to be like, well, yeah, you could do that, but then what would people think of you if you did that? You know what I mean? Because then there'd be no hiding, you know, like that it's a real ego like centered problem, you know?
Yeah. Anthony Cumia is featured in the documentary, which is surprising to me because he was an enemy of the Stern show when Jackie was on it. He was really, but he and Jackie have become friends. Now, Jackie, this is weird because Jackie is kind of a left-wing guy. Anthony Cumia is a hard right-wing guy with, you know, no doubt about it that he's definitely racist in a lot of demonstrable ways where he's racist about stuff, but he's just like really dead set hard right, and Jackie is not that guy. So I'm surprised that they're friends. He's in that, and he's saying like that what you just said about Jackie was the funny guy and Stern wasn't. But he's also come out recently, and I hate to agree with Anthony Cumia on things, but there are things I agree with him on. He's talking about how Stern has now reinvented himself as this great interviewer. And Cumia is like, he's not a great interviewer. You listen to the questions he asks. He asks the stupid. He sounds like a old, I hate to say it, an old New York Jewish guy, just out of touch with pop culture, you know. And so you learn to play the guitar, huh? Like, I mean, that's not like crack interviewer skills. He doesn't, and people are talking. I'm like, what a great interviewer. He's not. He's an old Jewish grandpa, you know, having tea and inviting you over to the house and just and not having a clue who you really are, what you're about, and just repeating shit you say back to you. So that's when you learn to play the guitar. Interesting. That's his comments. So,
can you sing outside of the studio?
yeah, right. What is the name of the documentary you speak of? It's called Joke Man.
It's called Joke Man.
Joke Man, Jackie Joke Man, but it's just Joke Man is the documentary.
Joke
Man. Very good documentary.
Very good.
Forever to get out. So anyway, yesterday I was at Save the Bay, and
my wife loved the ending. By the way, my wife was it was jaw dropping for her.
Yeah,
it has a jaw dropping ending.
Well, it does. But this is another thing I want to ask him about. Now, I don't want to spoil it for people, but Jackie's got small hands, smaller than mine. And he's coming out of the water, and he's covering his dick with this very small hand, and you don't see any.
Two hands. I mean, see, I wasn't going to say anything. I just wanted to say it was jaw dropping. I didn't want to.
Because this means that his dick must be this big. His hands are tiny.
He was using both hands. Give the man credit. Be nice. And hey, who knows how it was nighttime? The water's probably cold.
Oh no, definitely.
Okay, you're gonna tell me you don't shrivel up like a half sack of nickels when the water's cold?
No, Long Island Sound can do that to you. Definitely, it's very cold water.
Yeah,
but still, I mean, he must be like really like he must have a little boy dick. That's all I'm saying about that.
I don't even use my hands. I just let my pubic hair cover it. That's what I do.
There you go. I mean, yeah. But I thought you were alluding to when he bends over and you see the crack of his ass right at the camera. That was a jaw-dropping image. Like, I
Good,
don't need to
good
see
look.
choke
Yeah,
in
I'm man, dude. That's that's what I want to lose. Why would you say it though? That's fucking great, dude. I laughed so hard, and I look over at my wife, and she's just.
Well, now that I spoiled it all for you, pay $10 or whatever it is to see Jackie's ass up close and personal.
It's
It
fucking
is.
great. There's much better things. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
No, yes, great stuff. It's a great documentary, and you should get it. It's one of the better ones, but it leaves a lot of questions for people like me. Anyway.
Well, my wife had a question as soon as as soon as we hit play and the warnings came up on top of the screen. Do you remember the warnings? Because the warnings is like adult language, adult content, nudity, and like graphic sexual situations.
Oh, wow. The FBI just cut William off completely in the middle of graphic sexual situations. The FBI said, no, we don't go there. And that you were saying graphic sexual situations, and then you got popped out.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah. So the warning was like, all all this stuff, nudity, sexual situations, all that. My wife looks at me and she's like, "Are we going to be watching a documentary or a porno?" What?
I don't think it's
What
on
did we
Netflix.
watch it on?
Apple, all the streaming services.
Yeah, it's on a bunch of streaming. If you type it in, if you search it, it's on a couple different things.
You know what?
I think it was like $4.99 or $5.99 to rent.
Let me see. I think I might have the link.
I think it's $12.99 to own. You can own it. You can own it. You can buy it too.
Go to jenny.us/jokeman. GENI.us/jokeman. And all the options for where it's available are right there. Are you a fan of Billy Wayne Davis? Do you know Billy Wayne Davis at all?
I've seen a little bit, and what he was he was friends with Ralphie May, right? Didn't Ralphie May talk about him on stage a couple times?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. I loved Ralphie May. Like Ralphie May was one of my favorites. So I mean, I'm familiar with the name, but I don't think I know of him very much.
Well, he's opening. Well, he's headlining in Tucson and Bisbee later this week. Andy Andrus is on that show. Christine Levine is on both of those shows as well. And Doug Stanhope is the host of that show.
Oh man,
yeah. So Billy has been on this program several times, and he was on Carl's program last week. And surprisingly, on Saturday at the Save the Bay show that I was on, Billy turned up. I want to just show you that.
But comedian Billy Wayne Davis is on tour right now, taking a break from his tour to help out with this really great cause. Billy, what are you doing here at Save the Great South Bay?
I'm not Billy.
Oh, it turned out it wasn't Billy, just a guy who looks like him. Anyway.
God damn it.
I like doing that.
You suckered me. You got
I like doing that to people. Going up to them because they look like somebody and then try to do an interview with them as if they are. It almost got my ass kicked one time at Water Lilies. Cause Water Lilies was on the Nautical Mile and open to the sidewalk on this side and open to the canal, the river canal on the other side. And this guy is walking down the sidewalk, big dude with long blonde hair, all bulked up. And I'm on the microphone. I say loud and clear, "Ladies and gentlemen, Fabian." And the guy did an about face, turned around, walked right in the club, and came walking right towards me. And I was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna get my ass kicked by some big, beautiful Bobby guy." But he stopped short. He stopped short and didn't fuck with me. But I like doing that. I love going up to people because I knew he didn't know who Billy Wayne Davis was. He was like, "I don't know who that is." What do you mean? I gave him the line. I said, "Just say I'm not Billy Wayne Davis." And we had to take it like 5 times, which is why I had to edit.
Jeez.
Just say I'm not Billy Wayne Davis. He wanted to go into what he was really doing there. Well, we're helping out with a great cause. I don't give a fuck about the cause. This is a joke. Anyway. So yeah. The U-Haul thing. was a bummer. I got to bring the U-Haul back today, and I got kind of those U-Hauls are fun to drive. You're up high, you can see what's going on in other
Yeah.
people doing. You see what's going on. People do some fucking crazy shit, man, in the cars. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
When I first got out of prison, my first like year and a half or so, I worked for an appliance company in the warehouse. And by the time I left there, I was driving like I would easily drive like 3 or 4 different vehicles a day a lot of times for them. Because I did a lot of miscellaneous stuff, but I'd drive their big box trucks and then some of their other ones that are like the smaller U-Hauls,
yeah.
that have like the little thing over the cab or whatever.
Let's
But
go
yeah,
back.
when you're up there, yeah, you see a whole lot more. You see what people are up to in their cars for sure.
Right. Let's go back to you said when I first got out of prison, because I've been thinking about this lately. Our friend Bobby is getting out of prison. He's been in there for 18 years. He's not getting out like soon, but not like tomorrow, but within the next year, I think he's getting out. Um,
Okay.
he's been in for 18 years, and his mom has been the only one really supportive of him. Like, what happens? Because she's like, he's going to get out. He's going to have no money, no job, no, uh, well, stepping out of prison the first time and on your own. Did you have somebody there for you? Somebody picking you up? Well, I mean, what does that
Yeah.
feel like? Just walking out. Okay, I'm free, but I'm free to do what?
Yeah. So I mean, I've always said this. I was very fortunate upon my release to have a great network of support. And not every inmate has that. And I'm just gonna be straightforward with you. The better your network of support upon release, like the better your chances of success.
Right.
100%. But there are definitely things that you can do to help yourself. And some of what I know because of who my support was. Like you got to remember, my second wife was actually the employment coordinator for a halfway house. So when I left prison, I was married to like even though I didn't go to a halfway house when I paroled. I was in 12-step program at the time, and I paroled to my 12-step sponsor's home. I lived with him and his wife for the first few months, and but my fiance, my wife to be, was an employment coordinator. So like finding a job was super easy because I immediately knew where to go. You know what I mean? But
Wow.
and to be fair, like you're talking about New York and I was in South Dakota. Those are two very different states.
No, he's not.
I really don't know what it's like for a felon to try and find
I think he's
gainful
in Michigan.
employment in
I
New
think he's
York. But like in South Dakota, it's easy. I don't believe that felons have a hard time, especially with the job market today. Dude, there's so many fucking jobs out there. I don't give a shit what you did. There's somebody out there that's gonna fucking hire you. You know what I mean? And it's really a matter of not presenting yourself like a moron. You know
right.
what I mean? Like if you learn how to nail an interview, like because like getting the job um is kind of the easy part. You know what I mean? Like getting a job should be the easy part. Keeping a job, that's what takes work and dedication and commitment,
Well,
you know?
he's in Michigan. I think he wants to move to Colorado. I think that's where his family went to. But he's in for homicide. That makes a difference when people, what'd you go? What were you in prison for? I killed somebody. Uh, it,
Yeah. But
uh,
so I think in this regard, I mean, it's going to probably, if it were me, I would definitely, at this point, even right now, I would be talking to the people in the prison, who are people that can vouch for my conduct while I was here, because, yes, that's your record. So the only thing that they can do is go off of what the prison might tell them. You know what I mean? So I would talk with like my unit coordinator or my case manager to see if there's anyone that can vouch for my employment record while in prison, if I had a prison job, if I stayed at that job for a long, because employers are going to want to know about things like longevity. Did you have write-ups? You know what I mean? Like, you got to
Yeah,
think in those terms. What are the
I think
things that employers want to know about me?
I think he's been a model prisoner. He's got a podcast called Notes from the Pen.
Oh, that's great.
But he's been outspoken in trying to, implement prison reforms and talking to politicians about changing the way. It's just, it's not really a rehabilitative thing in most cases. It's meant to keep people coming back to the system, the way he explains it anyway. So, you can find out about Bobby Caldwell. Now, his story, and I believe his story, I've heard him tell it on Stanhope's podcast, is that he was on drugs. He was going to kill himself. He was depressed. He had a gun, and he was pointing it at himself. And his kid, 2-year-old daughter, I think, grabbed his arm as he was pulling the trigger, and the gun went off and shot his wife, killed his wife behind him.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. Accidental homicide. He didn't. I think he pleaded, guilty to accidental homicide or whatever it was.
Right.
But yeah, it's a rough thing to go away for 20 years for. I mean, your family has been torn apart. Your kids now have no parents. It's a terrible thing, but so I'm hoping for the best when he gets out, that he has a new chance at life. He's still young, still he's like your age, still young enough to have a life. So
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we wish him luck. We'll check him out. Notes from the 10, Bobby Caldwell. Follow him on Twitter. Or you're basically going to hear mostly from his mother. I think his mother runs his Twitter account. But Mama C, Bobby Caldwell. Anyway, yeah. So that's just something that I was curious about. Like, getting out seems to be a scary thing. Like, you do.
Yeah, no, it certainly can be, especially for somebody who's been in for a long time. Like, with me, I did almost 10 years straight. And I mean, I'm not kidding when I say, when you first get out, it's like being born all over again, because like you are starting over from ground zero. Like, I got to go and get a social security card. I probably got to get a copy of my birth certificate if I don't have one of those laying around. And people are going to treat me like I don't even exist for a hot minute, because they're going to be like, why don't you have any of the things that life requires?
Yeah.
Like, what, you're a grown person needing these things. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, I hear you.
And it's a hard feeling to get through. It's a very difficult time. It really, really is. And I mean, I'm more than willing to be any kind of supportive that I can be, for sure.
All right. Well, I will point him your way. Maybe you can get some helpful ideas from you. Now,
Right.
this week we have a very strange week lined up. Tomorrow, Karen Hale, who is a podcaster who talked about aging. I don't know how. I don't even remember booking her for this, if I'm being totally honest with you. But she's 71. And she says she feels like she's 17. And I almost want to push back on that. I mean, listen, yesterday, as I was done with my gig, I was on a high because yesterday's gig was really good. And I went to a bank to deposit some checks. I'm coming out of the bank, and it's the end of summer night, kind of a melancholy feeling. But I'm thinking about how my life turned out and how I love what I'm doing now, and how I wish that I would have adopted this attitude when I was younger, but you don't. But I feel young. I still feel vibrant in what I'm doing and playing music, but I'm not 17. And so that idea in my head, yes, sometimes I kid myself that I feel like a kid. I'm still irresponsible like a kid, but your body says, no, stop lying to yourself. You got old man body happening. And so her whole thing is about, being young and feeling young, but there's a reality you can't deny. You can say I'm 71 and feel 17, but the honest truth about that is you're lying to yourself. And maybe it's a productive lie, but it's still a lie.
I mean, I'm gonna say that To a degree, you're right, but I think that especially the more active you are, because I mean, when you look at some of these celebrities that are in their 60s, 70s, 80s that are still pretty damn spry and still doing quite a bit. It's because they stay active. It's life itself is one of those things that if you don't use it, you lose it. You know what I mean? And so the more inactive or immobile you become, the less you can do those things as time goes on. And like to think that you can just start doing them out of out of not having the practice, you know what I mean? Like I think that's where that old feeling comes in. But I think that there's a lot of truth to the people that continue to stay really, really active, that it really does help rejuvenate them and keep them younger.
Well,
because I think it keeps their body producing those, new cells, new muscle tissue, you know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty active though, and my body's falling apart. But Mike Shavola, who is a fan of the Rockin' 45s and sometimes a listener of this show, he stays very active. He's hardworking right now. He just sent me this picture of him hard at work right now. There he is, hard at work. These sneakers are him. I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's working that hard. But he's in good shape. He stays in good shape. He's probably 10 years older than you, but he's in very good shape. It seems like, or maybe he's even 15 years older than you. But he stays in very good shape and he's active. But me, I stay pretty active, but my body is falling apart. But then again, I look at where my father was. My father was feeding worms for 10 years by the time he was my age, feeding worms his age.
Well, right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But most people my age, Carl mentioned, walking through Manhattan, you won't even find people my age being able to walk around Manhattan all night long and still keep up. So there's that. I mean, sometimes I don't notice that I'm. This reminds me of that tragedy. What tragedy? 9/11.
Are you saying that this podcast is a tragedy?
Yeah,
that's heartbreaking.
I think you were saying.
Ouch, jeez.
The flow of this show reminds you of airplanes hitting buildings.
Ouch. Oh man. Oh, yeah. You know what? I don't think I've ever shared this with you. You know where I was during 9/11 when 9/11 happened?
No.
I bet you can't guess.
You were eating ass in a brothel.
I mean, I was in jail, so maybe. No, I was in jail on my first felony.
So you were eating ass in prison.
Yeah,
prison ass. Oh.
That was for my distribution charge back in the day.
Wow.
That's actually, oh my God. That charge is so, and I haven't, this will be in the new set that I'm doing. It can be hard to find gainful employment when the alias on your background check is one nut. You know what I mean?
Well, I know lots of one nuts. Unfortunately,
isn't the alias on their background check though, like legitimately, like logged with the police?
Now that puts tater salad to shame, without a doubt.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you hire me, I'm probably going to have to talk to HR right away.
I have a friend who's one ball, and I was cue ball. He was one ball. But he makes a big joke out of how he lost his nut on a fucking motorcycle. The motorcycle stopped, but he didn't, and one of his nuts remained on the handlebars while he went flying 150.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah. But he calls himself one ball all the time. But somebody was on a speakerphone at my house, another friend of mine. He said, "Who's that in the background? One ball." And then they started getting into it, and they were fighting. And I'm between two good friends now, and they're fighting over one guy who's using a nickname that this guy called himself by, but the wrong person called him it, and they, he's not friendly with this guy, and it became a thing. It's just weird to me how, like, I can joke about myself, but the wrong person says the same joke that a friend would say, and you get all pissed off. It's like,
yeah, no, I don't like that. I'm a what's good for the goose, good for the gander kind of person. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. I like I pretty much try and be the same across the board. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, but yeah, no, like it's a whole thing. I think most when it first happened, I was really touchy about it. Like the first year, 18 months or so, I was super touchy about it, and I didn't want people talking about it. But what ended up happening is I told a friend, because I recently, like, I just moved to Sioux Falls like not long after it happened. And so I'm making new friends or whatever. So you tell stories about yourself. And so I revealed to my friend Jake that I only have one testicle. And he's like, "Oh my God, you only have one nut? That's great." And I was like, I mean, not really, but whatever. He's like, "No, dude, that's fucking great. That's the best thing ever." Right. And then like I don't know, like a half hour later, we go to fucking McDonald's. And I'm sitting in the passenger seat. He's in the driver's seat. We're going through the drive-through. There's a girl at the window that's like our age, because I'm like 19 or so. We're like young people. And he looks at this chick at the McDonald's drive-through window. He's like, "Hey, make my friend Bill. He's fucking awesome. He's only got one nut. Isn't that great?" And I'm like, "Dude, what the fuck? What the fuck? You just told the fucking drive-through chick that I only have one fucking testicle. What the fuck is the matter with you?" I was super mad. He's like, "No, dude, it's fucking greatest thing ever." And before I know it, this fucking dude will not stop telling people. Like,
you told the wrong guy.
Like, fucking everybody we come across, he just starts telling. And I'm like, well, and I literally threw my hands up. Well, I guess this is just a fucking thing now. This is just something that's gonna happen,
right.
But I decided to run with it, and it became like a whole personality. And I found out that there were chicks that would fuck me just because I had one testicle, which I thought was fucking bananas, but it's totally true. And it's like, it really opened up a whole new world. And there was literally, like, I can tell you, bro, I lived like a whole personality just based on the idea that everybody wanted to know about my nut and its ongoings.
There you go. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I lived probably 3 years of my life like that, bro.
So here's the takeaway, and this is important for people. If you don't have shit to talk about, you can't find things to talk about, chop one of your nuts off. That's all. Or
it's a conversation starter for sure.
Definitely. You need something to talk about. You need a backstory. Blow one of your nuts off.
I mean, that's true. That's true.
So the rest of the week, on Wednesday, Jim Lichtman will be 9:00 guest. Jim Lichtman is the author. He authored a book. But it's about Ken Starr. Ken Starr was the prosecutor for Bill Clinton's impeachment.
Yeah,
he was trying to, it went everywhere. Right. It started out with Watergate, Whitewater, which was a real estate investment thing that Hillary was really involved in Arkansas before they were ever president. And he was investigating for them, became special counsel. He got in a war with the Secret Service, who was, the Secret Service job is to protect the president. But I think they take that a little too far when they want to protect the president from any legal jeopardy or any of that stuff. So Ken Starr got in this really heated, like, political war with the Secret Service that lasted until the Monica Lewinsky stuff. But he's written a book about, the Secret Service and their role in this, because we see it now with the Trump stuff. The Secret Service should protect the body of the president and stay the fuck out of the legal stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, like I don't think it's definitely not their job to protect his character, but that's the sort of thing that they've been doing. Like, part of it is to make sure that scandal doesn't get out or whatever, I'm sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
So the second hour on Wednesday is Craig Mitchell from Off the Cuff Cooking. Craig is, I don't know if you can be a former comedian. I think once you're a stand-up comedian, you're always a stand-up, even if you're not doing it anymore. But he was very involved in stand-up for like 20 years, then retired. Now he's a host of Off the Cuff Cooking, which is a cooking show for people with diabetes too. You know, all kinds of non-carb or low-carb foods. And he's also one of the hosts of the Big Bad broadcast, who they've been having some incredible guests lately, and I want to talk to him about that. So he'll be here Wednesday. On Thursday, Glenn Tickle. You know Glenn Tickle?
I don't think so.
Comedian. He's got a new special coming out, and I don't know the name of it, but his name is interesting enough for a comedian, Glenn Tickle. It's his real last name, Glenn Tickle. And then on Friday, we have an author, Omari Richards, who has a first novel that he wants to talk about. He's a Dominican who has come to America and wants to share some of his insights on becoming an American on purpose, legally, you know, American on purpose rather than American born here. And I do think sometimes the people who come here on purpose, who are American by choice, not by birth, end up being like spectacular citizens, you know,
Sure.
because it's because we take it for granted if you're born
Oh,
here,
of course.
you know. So
Yeah.
interesting.
Some of us have no idea what it's like to not have the freedoms and advantages that we have here in America. You know what I mean? Like dude, even in prison. When I was in prison and I would listen to some of the stories from like guys from Sudan and shit like that, holy fuck, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like most Americans, I would say 80 to 90% of Americans have not a clue how fortunate we are.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
Yeah.
I mean, not clue one.
And part of it, I think, most people, the majority of people, I think this is true. And I'm not saying I know this is true. I'm saying I think this is true. Most people don't ever go overseas or visit other places in the world. If they do it for a vacation resort and they don't really get around to see the actual country. Like, you know, Mikey goes to Punta Cana, which is in the Dominican, but he never leaves the fucking resort. Like, you don't know the Dominican if you never leave the resort. It's fucking...
Right. Yeah, like I have a number of friends that have done multiple mission trips to like Haiti and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I've had some long discussions with people that have seen some very bleak circumstances.
I wonder if people who grow up abroad can grow up to have their own coffee company. This show is sponsored by Mind Dog Coffee, and let's play a little bit right now. 52 seconds. I'll see you in 52 seconds. Introducing Mind Dog Coffee. If you are a coffee connoisseur and want to experience the best coffee, we invite you to try Mind Dog Coffee. I have to say, it's a little with a variety of roasts from all around the world. Mind Dog Coffee is premium gourmet coffee, expertly roasted and delivered to your door. From award-winning growers, we strive to provide our loyal customers with the best quality and freshness. Your favorite people are waking up to Mind Dog Coffee. Get your day started with a hot, energizing cup of vibrant, exclusive Colombian dark roast, or the ranch hands ready for work with our cowboy blend. Order now at minddogtv.com/shop. Now, I wanted to, where it says your favorite people are waking up to Mind Dog Coffee, I have lots of clips of celebrities I've had on the show doing this, and I wanted to kind of use some of those clips, but then I thought I could get in trouble and get people mad at me because it seems like false advertising. And I never gave you permission to use my image for commercial purposes and all that stuff, so I backed off on it. But I have almost everybody I've had on the program who was, you know, celebrities who are known for anything has had a cup in their hand at some point doing this. So it's like, oh, this is fucking great. I could just...
That's fucking great.
He was looking for a reverse cowboy blend. I could get you a reverse cowboy blend. Now,
that's my favorite position, by the way.
I want to talk about this position because now this is odd that that's your favorite position. You can't see the girl's face.
Right. No, but I can see her ass. I'm an ass man. I thought you knew this, man. I am an ass man.
That was going to be my. You don't really see the ass. You see the top crack of the ass, but you don't see the whole ass. I mean,
no. Oh no, bro. Reverse cowgirl. You get to see that thing. You're doing it wrong, then, bro. Because man, that thing just.
I am not doing it.
Oh my god, that's some. Damn. All right. Anyway,
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I won't do it. I do not.
I mean, what you really got to do. What you really got to do. Like, listen. The best thing to do in reverse cowgirl is to tell her to hold your ankles and just stay on, and then you just like you be the horse, you be the stallion, and show her what the fuck is. And I'm telling, bro, reverse cowgirl is where it's at. 100%. Because the angle, like you're hitting that G spot, like you're pounding that G spot in reverse cowgirl.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know if you know that, but like logistically.
And it doesn't pop out because this is the problem with the pop out.
So it can. Okay, but so you got to know, like, okay, I don't know about y'all, but I've had a lot of sex. So I mean, I know the feel real good. You know what I mean? So and so I'm real good at holding on to her hips, and I'm not gonna let her pop her hips past a certain point. Like I hold her from hitting that, from going past, because I mean, you can hurt yourself. It wasn't reverse cowgirl, it was just her on top. But that's how I've broken my dick before. I have broken cells in my penis. Like I could take my erection and bend it over because I have broken cells. And do you not want me to say these things?
No, I'm just like picturing a snapped off penis. Now
it fucking hurt, bro. It hurt so bad. We were going to town, and she was on top, and I had her legs forward, and I was like rowboating her behind the knees. You know what I mean? But I popped out just a little bit, and it went up and hit her pelvic bone and just popped my shit back, bro. And like, dude, I can't even imagine. There's no way that I could recreate the sound I made it, because like it was a wounded animal for sure. It was a wounded animal sound.
You know,
I just saw that comment. Robert, you killed me, bro. You killed me, bro. Oh my God, that fucking comment's beautiful. I mean, yeah, if you're a 2-incher, there's no help for you. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe that's the problem. I have no fix for that.
That's not the problem. But I'm not a guy who brags about like length and all this stuff. I think I'm probably about average length. I don't know. Listen, I never measured my dick, and I'm not about to start measuring my dick. But if I had to estimate, I would say somewhere between 6 and 8 inches. But that's not the thing. It's fucking girth that matters. And
right, girth, yeah.
But all I'd say, popping out, yeah. But it seems to pop out a lot more in that whole thing, and I like to see the face. I'm a face guy. I like to see
okay. I will say I do believe reverse cowgirl is a great position for the woman for the fact that it does stimulate the G-spot a lot. So if you're a face guy and you have the ability, my suggestion is to use a mirror. All right. Because like for real, dude, it's actually super hot, bro, because then you get the best of both of it, because there's a mirror in our room, and like when my wife's on the bed in that way, like I can see her front in the mirror, and I see her from the angle that we're naturally at. Also,
boring, call me an old curmudgeon, call me old fashioned. I'm a missionary, man. I like missionary. Missionary is my thing.
I like everything.
What strikes me though, Robert Taylor. We talked about this when he was on Thursday. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. What do you do? Apparently he's a kinky bastard who watches a lot of porn. I think that's because look at all this reverse cowboy talking about, always bringing up Ron Jeremy and Johnny Holmes and stuff. I think we found out what his vice is.
Porn.
I think the $2 trillion that is made off of porn every year. A lot of that's coming right out of Robert's pocket. A lot of it,
Yeah.
$2 trillion. Anyway, that's a terrible thing to say to a guy like me. 2 inches pops out no matter what. Now, Bean Flicker is who's your biggest fan. Life lessons with Whiskey Dick Willie on a Monday.
Yeah.
I don't know if life lessons. You're talking about sex, which is not necessarily. It's a very small part of life.
To some people, sex is life.
Sex creates life, but it's not. If it is your life, you're gonna be tired. You're gonna be tired a lot.
You're gonna be tired. You're gonna be worn out.
It's hard. It's hard to conduct a real life. Get up and go. It's hard enough for me to get up in the morning anyway. But if I were fucking all night, that definitely ain't happening. That definitely ain't happening. That's why weekends are good, because generally I have some time to sleep in, so you can fuck a little bit if you want.
Right. All I know is the longer I don't make money in comedy, the greater the chances of me starting an OnlyFans is.
All right, well, get on it. Kelly doesn't have any money, so yeah, you can't rely on just making money off of her. But yeah, I mean, it's an idea.
I'm sure I can find a market.
What's with this music thing you do? What is it called? Star Singer, Star Search, Star
Maker. Okay, so I'm on the Star Maker app. It's an app. It's a singing app. I've been on it for like maybe 3 years or so, but only in the last like maybe 6 months or so have I gotten really kind of serious about it and started doing more lives or whatever. But I mean, it has a lot of different abilities. You can create covers that you can, mess with the vocal a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just straight recording. You can actually make some adjustments or whatever. Lonely Fans. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
We could do that.
See, that's a great idea, Robert. Lonely Fans.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's $1 million idea you got there, Robert.
Yeah, I definitely with the OnlyFans, have a couple of porn stars that I might be getting on the show. I have had one porn star and one Playboy model. That's it. Now, Carlos said he wouldn't be interested. He wouldn't have anything to talk to porn stars about. I am interested in how you. First of all, when you first start getting into the life, how you get into it, how do you explain to your family, because they're gonna find out, right? They're gonna find out. How you kind of, if you're a woman now, for a guy it doesn't matter.
I mean, no, like my mom being dead matters for sure. If my mother was still alive, I wouldn't even think about it.
Really?
I'm not even kidding you, because like there's no way I'm telling my mother that.
Would she find out? Would your mother find out that?
Oh yeah, because my sister would tell her all fucking day.
Yeah. All right. I wouldn't matter to me. I mean, as a guy, I don't give a fuck. But maybe I'm just I'm made differently. But I don't care what people think about me. I have no reputation to
I mean, my mom's about the only one that would have like been like a stopper.
Yeah. What is Bean saying here? Do it right, and your life is exponentially better. What? Sex or porn?
OnlyFans. I mean, dude, some of these chicks are, and they're not even just chicks. Like Two Turn Tony is an OnlyFans star, and that dude is living it up, bro. He's become wildly popular, and that's one of the male stars, Right. But yeah, you can make a pretty lucrative business out of that shit.
All right, I want to talk about something that was in the news there, in your news report this morning. It's Danny Masterson, is that his name?
Yeah, now, from the 70s show.
He's a Long Island native. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I read in the stories.
Now he's in prison, right, for raping a young girl. Is that what?
I don't know if it was an age thing. I think it was he drugged them, or they were too drunk for consent or whatever. And I think there were 5 victims in total, I think. And it appeared, from everything that I read, it appears that Scientology had stepped in and stopped these girls from reporting things previously or whatever. So there's definitely some affiliation with that as well. You know what I mean? So he was
That's where I
definitely being protected, and
Sci
that's the real heartbreaker of the situation, in my opinion.
and Scientology, is not in trouble at all for that. He went to prison for it, but Scientology has not been as a church, like, the administration of the church, none of those people have gotten in trouble for it at all, do we know?
Not as far as I can tell.
That's interesting.
But
Uh,
yeah, no, like there definitely is some evidence that people from Scientology tried to prevent the girls from saying anything. All of these girls were kind of like set up with him through the church. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's definitely some really questionable shit. I was actually I was interested. And so the reason I actually did the story was because I was more interested about Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis kind of recanting their support of him. You know
oh,
what I mean? Because I find that, and as someone who is an ex-inmate, who's an ex-convict, I mean, I did what I did to go to prison for sure. You know what I mean? Um,
but you didn't rape anybody.
this is true, but people forget that no matter what the crime is, the person who committed that crime is still somebody's son. There's still somebody's, sometimes somebody's husband, sometimes, wife, or you know what I mean? They have a lot of relationships with people sometimes. And 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 I don't think it's a matter of defending the actions of that person, and we're also talking about, by the way, I'm also not saying that he shouldn't have went to prison or shouldn't have gotten the sentence that he got or any of those things. All I'm saying is that when people do wrong, why is there an expectation that everybody is just going to run for the hills and no one's going to love that person or support that person or care about that person?
All right,
I mean,
so yeah, I don't know enough about Ashton and what's her name, Mia or whatever.
Mila
Miller.
Kunis, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about enough about this situation. I have a friend who he got arrested for kiddie porn charges, and it was all over the news. He was a singer in a popular band, and it came out. It was all over Newsday and News 12. Child, porn guy. Turned out the case was kind of manufactured. He basically was sent a file through an email, opened it up, and he didn't go. When he went to court, they dismissed the charges outright. Never going to get his reputation back, and he been an outcast. They raped him. The news raped him big time
Right.
on this. Now, I'm not saying he's totally innocent. I mean, why is somebody sending you these? I don't know all that, but everybody was condemning him right off the bat, and I was one of the few people who said, you know what, I've been friends with this guy too long. I'm not going to just. I know the charge and the crime itself that people are talking about is really, really a disgusting crime, and people are, it's one of the last taboos that we have. But I'm not going to just dismiss the guy. I'm going to, my father told me. My father was very well acquainted with sin, and not necessarily in a religious sense of sin, but doing bad things. He said,
Right.
"There's no difference between a lie and a murder." And it's like in the eyes of doing right or doing wrong, they're both
Right.
wrong. You're both, and that kind of stuck with me. So I said, I'm going to stick with this guy and remain supportive of him. But I'm going to tell him, you got to.
Right.
If it happened, you have to accept and be accountable for it, and not just continue to be in denial about it. I never did.
Right.
I never did, unless you
Yep.
never did it. But that's part of it. I don't think this guy Masterson guy has shown any remorse about any of it.
Yeah, no, probably not. Very doubtful. He's probably not even really copped to it or whatever. You know what I mean? And I don't know that for sure. but yeah, that definitely factors in. But to me, I don't necessarily agree with this general stance that people that have been in relationship with him for 20 plus years are just supposed to ditch him and not be supportive of him.
Well, we don't know. We don't know
How
they
is it
were
that people
really.
can't understand their support?
Again, I don't really know them, so I don't know to what extent they were really in his life. Just because they were on a show with him doesn't mean they were necessarily like in his
I
life.
mean, it's pretty
Could
well
be.
documented that most of the cast stayed pretty close post the show breaking.
Well, that's on me because I don't know about pop culture.
Except for Topher Grace, but now Topher Grace. So Topher Grace never really. He was always there was always kind of, a murmur about why Topher Grace never kicked it with the rest of the cast from that 70s show. And now there's questions about, well, maybe Topher Grace wasn't down with some of the activity that he saw and he didn't want to be around that sort of behavior.
Gotcha. Now, here's a thing that you might not know. Maybe you know about it, but I didn't know. And somebody on Twitter last night was talking about it. John Phillips from the Mamas and Papas, bad guy. The guy with the fucking stupid fluffy hat on Ed Sullivan. He was raping his daughter, Mackenzie Phillips, for years and years and years, and getting her hooked on heroin at the age of 11, sending her off to fucking suck with rock stars in their home. Masterson is married to his other daughter, to John Phillips' other daughter. Now, if you're raping one daughter, the ugly daughter, I'm sorry. If you're raping one, you're probably raping both. No, I would think. Oh, she had to at least grow up in a dysfunctional. This is Danny Masterson's wife,
Right.
so she's probably, I'm not playing pop psychologist here, but in my mind, I'm thinking she's probably a victim of trauma and abuse her whole life. Anyway,
I would imagine so,
and that's why she ended up with this guy. So I'm thinking this is not his first offense. It's the one he got caught for. That's what I think. I could be wrong. And I'm not pop culture. I don't know about any of this stuff. But that's what that lends me to believe. He's married to a daughter of one of the most abusive guys who we've ever known about. So chances are very good that she was a trauma victim and seeking out the life that she knew, and why she ended up with him. I don't know. Maybe that's going too far, too much conjecture on my part. But that's what it seems like. I don't know. But you know what? Scientology, I think, should be held accountable. I hear what you're saying about his friends not standing by him, but that story's not new, right? It's been out for a long time. He just got sentenced.
Right, yeah. So because this was actually, he just got convicted off of a retrial, actually, because the first trial, I think it was a hung jury or whatever, however they put that in terms now. But deadlocked, I think, was the jury or whatever. But so they ended up doing a retrial because they found out that he had also drugged the girls as well. I think that was the evidence that called for the retrial.
So he took the Cosby playbook.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's a sad story all the way around.
It really is.
It is. But, I've never been a fan of Scientology. I was thinking about Tom Cruise the other day because Matt Damon was talking about how intense Tom Cruise is. And I just think Tom Cruise is dick. Yes, he's a good actor. Yes, I've seen him in things where some of his films are really, really impactful films, and he always plays a good part in it. I get that. But at the end of the day, he's just an actor. And I think, you might credit Scientology. I just think some people are just intense by their nature. They're born into a very intense character.
Right.
But I don't think Scientology is necessarily the reason he is the way he is, or a big star, or committed to his doing his own stunts and all that kind of stuff. I think he's one of the people that Scientology uses to create this idea that the religion is valid and will improve your life in order to enslave the victims that become. I don't think he actually puts up with the bullshit. Maybe he does. Maybe he goes through all those confessionals. I forget what the auditing and all that kind of stuff. But I doubt it. I think
it's been a while since I looked into it, but a few years ago, I think maybe when I was like kind of fresh, when I was freshly out of prison, and I was just going Google crazy because I'd seen a smartphone for the first time, so I was just Googling all sorts of crazy shit. I'm pretty sure that.
Tom Cruise just bounced William out of here. Look at that.
Yeah,
See, Tom Cruise's people. No, I know what happened.
Yeah, right.
Tom Cruise called up McSavage or whatever, McCabbage.
Yeah.
He said, "Shut that fucking guy up."
Yeah.
Now, what were you saying about Mr. Tom?
I'm pretty sure that I remember reading something about him being very devout with his Scientology practices.
Devout.
Yeah.
Oh. So he's a theta. He's theta clear.
I mean, probably. I would imagine so.
So, and they took these souls and threw them into a volcano. I don't know. You know, all religions have some fucked up stories to them. Like Muhammad, like blasting off on a magic carpet and all that kind of stuff. But I think the volcano story and the blasting off to another galaxy, throwing people into volcanoes, that part of Scientology is as weird as anything ever heard. People buy into that. But you know what? All religions are fucked up. I start my own religion. My name is Ron, and I'm going to start a religion. Like Bill Burr has a bit about that. About this religion was started by a guy named Ron, not like Muhammad or Jesus 2,000 years ago. This is a guy 40, 50 years ago where he had a driver's license, a social security number.
That Ron, I think, is his middle name because isn't it L. Ron Hubbard? What's the L for? It's probably like Ladanian or something.
Loser.
Yeah.
Well,
L. Ron Hubbard. Yeah.
And he had this thing, the Seabees, where you were living on a boat, and that was how his thing all started. He was a tax evader living on a boat and trying to avoid taxes for his books he was writing or something, science fiction novel. Very strange religion.
Well, I will not be starting a religion. I'm not even allowed to get ordained. My wife and I have talked about it.
Well, Carl is starting his own religion, but we haven't really figured out what to call it yet. But I think Carl should write a book and go on one of these motivational speaker type of things.
I mean, his last name is Man. I mean, wouldn't it make sense to call it the religion of man?
Yeah, well, just like it should have been the Man Show when he was doing when they were doing Dykes and Man. It should have just been the Man Show. He shies away from that. He doesn't like to use that. I would be. I mean,
Dykes and Man was a great title, though. I thought that was a great fucking title for
I'm the man. I'm the man.
I thought Dykes and Man was pretty fucking clever.
Let's see how Roy says it here. Hold on 1 second. Let's see how Roy says it.
Hey, yeah, mind dog, yeah, mind dog. If you ready for some action, this dog sure to keep you laughing. Let's go. Mind dog, yeah, mind dog. Don't roll, don't play fetch. Only here to keep your interest. This is the show that you've been missing. Full of comedians and musicians. Plenty of interviews, entertaining. Keep it funny, there ain't no debating. Call the man. You never know what they gon' say. Bean Flicker Kelly and Whiskey Dick Willie Conway. So authentic and straight raw. Pushing the limits when they talk. Doing it live when they stream. Mind Dog TV. Yeah, so crazy, getting intense. The dogs are wild, better beware before you hop over the fence. Mind Dog, yeah, Mind Dog. If you ready for some action, this dog sure to keep you laughing. Let's go. Mind Dog, hey, Mind Dog. Don't roll, don't play fetch. Only here to keep your interest. Let's go. Come have coffee with the dog.
Says, call the man. You never know what they're going to say. Bean Flicker Kelly and Whiskey Dick William Conway. That's what he says. Call the man.
Yeah.
Call the man. That's what the name of the show should be. Call the man.
Dude,
Anyway,
even my kid grooved to that fucking ad, just so you know. Like when I played that for him the other day, even my kid was like, "Oh man, that's dope." And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Right on." Like,
yeah, you never know what they're going to say.
yeah.
Called the
Yeah,
man.
I like that. I do appreciate having somewhere, because you've never really told me, hey, you can't say that or you shouldn't say that or whatever. You pretty much let me just voice my crazy opinions no matter what they are. And I really appreciate having that ability.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad you appreciate it. Thanks for expressing that thought. Now, Daisies is going to be Daisies of Nashville. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this yet. A lot of things I shouldn't say yet. I'm going to be starting regularly. I've been subbing for brother Dave, there, but I'm going to be starting doing it as a regular gig coming up soon, and we'll be sponsored. They will be sponsoring the program, and we'll talk about Daisies Nashville. I need to put together commercials for them. Have several new sponsors coming on that we need to have commercials for. I'm just trying to think of creative ways to do these things that don't feel like I'm, wasting people's time and just coming back to the Koa Coffee commercials that I played 10,000 times on this program, and I know it drove people crazy, but you got to pay the bills somehow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, like I said, if you want to give me either talking points or just whatever you want, I'll do reads. I have no problem doing reads if you want me to do some of that.
Talk about your one nut thing. Kelly is embracing this bean flicker Kelly's thing.
That's great. That's great. I love it.
Yeah. The Days Inn at Nashville. No, Daisy's Nashville Saloon in Patchogue. Anyway, I guess that's a show for today. I don't know. Is that a show for today?
It seems like one of our shows for sure.
Yeah, you didn't even say anything about 9/11. Was you even aware before I brought it up this morning that this is a thing? Like today was 9/11 and people were going.
Actually, so this is one of the things about me. I'm one of those never forget people for sure.
What do you never forget?
Huh?
What are you never forgetting?
Honestly, when I think of 9/11, I never forget that I can't trust this government. That's what I never forget.
Yeah.
When I think about 9/11 and never forget, I think I should never forget that I cannot trust this government.
All right, I'm with you on that, but I think this is part of the problem. A lot of people think never forget means never forget what those Muslims did to America. That's what they think. That's part of the mindset. Never forget that this was a terrorist act. But in order to think that, you have to buy in completely to the government.
The story, the narrative that they spun, and that's bullshit.
It could be true. It could be that Osama bin Laden in a cave put this whole scheme together. Guys went out and learned to fly jets. That could be true, but even if that is true, there are still elements of the entire story that just don't fit. None of it really fits. And so,
I mean,
but the thing is, when we say never forget, if we go by what you and I are talking about, never forget that we don't know what really happened. They lied to us, and you can't trust them. It seems like we've moved past even asking the question, and so that does indicate that we want to demand the truth. We've accepted that we're never going to get the truth, and we've stopped demanding it. And so that, to me, is we've forgotten. I
think that's what we've done with a lot of this shit. I mean, that's why, like, dude, when the government came out and said that UFOs were a real thing and we've been hiding, we were all just like, yeah, assholes, we fucking knew. We have fucking known. You see all these movies we talk about all the time. You know what I mean?
They count on us not caring after a while. They count on us giving up.
They count on our indifference for sure.
Ian says this episode has been deleted for misinformation. That is misinformation. We're not deleted yet. We have at least 30 minutes before they delete it.
And I mean, there's a disclaimer at the beginning of the show. Do your own fucking research.
Is that what the disclaimer? I never even on today's show. No, I think I'm. Do I have? Oh yeah, the opinions expressed. That's right. I do say.
Yeah.
I forget.
I fucking love that you have that disclaimer, bro. I'm like, yes.
It didn't save me with the God hacking the God code lady, Patricia Corey, didn't save me for like that. YouTube didn't give a fuck about the disclaimer. No, she's saying shit we can't allow on here. Anyway, gotta say goodbye. Govs Comedy Network. Let's see who's at Govs this week before we say goodbye here. Govs Comedy Club. I think there's something good. I hope there's something coming up this week. Gary Valentine is there this week. Gary Valentine.
Ooh, nice.
And the Stars of Tomorrow. If you don't know who Gary Valentine is, he's Kevin James' brother. I guess Kevin James' real last name is Valentine. Anyway, he's there this week. Terry McNeely is also there. Vladimir Kamano, special event. I don't know him. I hate this when I don't know the names and I feel like I gotta hype it up a little bit and I don't even know who these people are.
Who is it?
Willie. Oh, on the last one, Vladimir Kamano, 2C8, Caamano, Kamano, Vladimir Kamano. It's like a Russian Hispanic guy.
Yeah.
Vladimir. Who names their kid Vladimir unless you're Russian? Anyway, I'm sorry about that. Am I being racist? Am I being Wellie Jackson is at the McGuire's location and Charlie Bouquet. These are exciting shows. And Belmore, who we got? Belmore. Oh, Stand Up University starts a new season today. Maybe I should get Peter Bales on. He's or Rich Walker, who runs Stand Up University, now in their 22nd year, I think, or 23rd year. Anyway, and the Reverse Commute comedy show at the brokerage. I don't know what that's all about. Reverse Commute. Can I see? Patent Pending Productions brings you the best of New York City right to the Reverse Commute comedy show. So a bunch of New York comics, showcase type of thing. Follow them on Instagram. Brian Scalero, Laura Patton, I don't know who Curry is, and Rick Crom and Tom Eshelman. I don't know any of these names. There are so many people in comedy now. It's unbelievable that because you can have comedy clubs booked to the hilt. And I don't know a lot of the names. I mean, I don't know. But at least I know who Bill Burr is. Yes, sir.
I have an idea.
What's the idea?
I mean, since they're doing so many shows with people you don't know.
Right.
Maybe we could pitch a show idea. I could host a show called You Ought to Know. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it could be people, just a New York showcase for people around the country that you've never heard of, but you ought to know.
Good stuff. Now, I would definitely want to do that. I want to start doing my own shows. Budgeting has got me, because you got to be able to pay for people to get here, a hotel room and all that stuff. And they're not willing to pay that for unknown names. That's the part of the problem. I'm going to say goodbye to Govs before we say goodbye here, because they're getting ready for